Hello, everybody.
Hello.
We are live with our awesome demo today. Hopefully you guys can hear us. I see a lot of good morning, good afternoon from Vancouver, North Carolina, Wilmington, Seattle. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's so exciting. If you can hear us, type llama in the chat and we can get started and get going with our demo today. So just put those llamas in. Good morning from Texas. Good morning.
Do you want me to type llama for you?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. We got some llamas. Perfect. All right. So my name is Anna. I'm your host this afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are. Thank you for joining us. Today we have Leslie Parsons with us, and we are doing a sketch and ink tutorial where we will be talking about adding depth and contrast to your sketches. So this is going to be really fun. It's more of a showcase of Leslie's awesome techniques. So it's not really a step-by-step tutorial. If you want a step-by-step tutorial and you're really loving this demo, I'm going to put some more information about the mini workshop coming up with Leslie again at the end of July, I believe it is. I'll double check on that. If you guys have questions, make sure you type question in all caps so we can see them clearly. And I will pass those along to Les as he is working here. And I think that's about everything. Oh, one more thing. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do. Just press subscribe and you will get notifications so you can stay up to date on when we are going live. We actually have another demo tomorrow, and that's with John Albany Hoyle with ink and watercolor. So you can jump in and see that one tomorrow. Hope you join. And Leslie, I think I'm ready for you to take it away, show us your awesome work, and let's get started.
It's pressure. Awesome work. I was just going to say, your room looks really clean. Mine's a lot messier.
I have a screen on.
Yeah, well, hi. I see some people already on the chat that I recognize. So hello, and thanks for showing up. If you can't tell from my Instagram handle, Montreal Sketcher, I am in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And yeah, even though I'm in Montreal and I like to draw Montreal things, I'm also a huge fan of Japan and Japan storefronts. So many or most of my drawings are things I've seen in Japan or things friends in Japan have sent me. So I don't know why I like them so much. I just do. So that's what we'll be drawing today. A Japanese barbershop that's been around since the 50s. My friend Stefan, he's on Instagram as storefronts.japan. I told him I wanted to draw this place. I found it on Google Street View. So he actually went there. He took the metro and he went there and he shot it for me. And the owner, the barber, saw him taking pictures and invited him in. So on Stefan's story, he's got shots of the inside of the place where he met the barber and he heard a bit about the history. So that was kind of nice of him and super cool. So yeah.
That is awesome. What a good friend going out, take some pictures for you, huh?
Yeah, it's a great account if you're into Japanese storefronts. Stefan runs challenges every month where he'll pick an image and he'll ask everybody to draw it. And as long as you use his hashtag, he will repost your art. Doesn't matter how good you are or how much effort you put into it. You hashtag him, you get reposted. So I enjoy those kind of challenges, not just his, but anybody's challenges, because it gives me it's like homework. It's like assigned by my teacher. So if you're not sure what to draw, or if you're looking to draw something outside the box or outside of your norm, these challenges are kind of cool, and it's a great way to be introduced to a different artist or a different subject.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. It's like when you're not sure what to draw, it's a good opportunity.
Exactly.
All right, I'm going to put your spotlight right onto your work.
Yeah. I'll move this aside for a minute, and I thought I would do just a quick flip through of some of the paintings I had lying around my desk. I had to do a major cleanup for this live, so these are just things I found in piles. So some of my early work was like crazy, super detailed, and I'm trying to get away from that, especially when I'm drawing buildings, because you're on holiday, you're with your partner, my wife, doesn't always want to wait 3 hours while I draw every single brick and window of excuse me, of a church I just found. So what I've been doing lately is trying to let go of some of the detail and still add contrast and add shadow and shading, but try not to draw every single rivet and brick. So these are just some Japanese storefronts, coffee house, little challenge someone had. This was a challenge. So I really like doing challenges. The building in Montreal.
Those are so cool.
Japanese coffee house. And I'm still pretty new at drawing, so you can tell from looking at these that they're all different styles. I try, hey, what if I tried this pen? Or what if I tried this ink? Or what if this is a Tsukiji, a fish market in Japan. We saw a guy walking by with a ton of styrofoam containers strapped to his bike. So that's based on a photo that I took. So if I do cartoony, if I,
These are all so fun. And I love this part of the demo because it's so cool to see your work and see your style before we jump in and get some of those awesome tips.
what if I just painted in blue?
Right.
Anyway, there's so many. I really like this one.
That's cute. Love the crab.
Japanese store, Japanese dentist office, bunny cafe. And there's bunnies. I hit bunnies like everywhere.
They're so cute. They have so much character.
And you can tell, I mean, this one came out a bit simple, but adding some blacks and some darkness to make things in the foreground pop, which is a kind of a bit of what I'm going to show here. And just some crazy color.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Those are all so awesome.
Thanks. And the one we're doing today, if I can find the right page, is this one. And unfortunately, 40, 50 minutes of screen time, I don't have enough. I'm still pretty slow when I still add quite a bit of detail. So I don't have time to draw and sketch, sketch and paint. But if anyone paints this after class, and I hope you consider, I hope you consider this homework. If you do paint it after class, then I think Etcher has come up with a hashtag, Etcher_barbershop. So if you hashtag it Etcher_barbershop and you paint it after the class, then I'll definitely take a look and comment because I want to see what they turn out like.
Yeah, so this hashtag is special for this event. It's hashtag Etcher_barbershop, and I just posted it in the chat. So we'll do the line work today and the inking, and then as Les said, if you want to finish your homework, we would love to see your painted versions. Even your line work would be awesome. We're looking forward to that.
Right, and as long as you have the reference photo, which is on the Etcher site, then you'll have the colors. You have everything you need. So I mean, this is mostly like a blue-green. There's not a lot of color here. I mean, even when I painted mine, I used, I think, Moon Glow, which is kind of a blue, purpley gray. So this is all, just neutral tones, a blue-green, some stripes, some bush, some plants. So it's not like a super detailed painting. There's not a lot of colors here.
So it won't be it's not too much, more of like a limited palette.
Yes.
Awesome.
So.
All right, are you ready?
I'm ready. So just to do like a quick overview of how I'm going to tackle this. When I painted mine, I mean, I like to exaggerate shapes a lot. So you can tell this one is more kind of a landscape, at least this part is. But I wanted to fit my page, ended up being more square. Things that are fat end up getting fatter. Things that are thin end up being thinner. So I really like exaggerating the shapes. I find that it gives it a lot more personality. I was watching a video by Felix Scheinberger, and he was saying, this isn't architecture, and that's something that I had a hard time with at the beginning because I was literally counting windows. It's like you're trying to capture a feeling, trying to capture a personality. So maybe it's not perfectly what the photo shows, but it's a feeling. Anyway, so I mean, this is basically all squares, right? And I'll draw on my, it's all lines and squares, lines. This part up here is going to be super easy. this part of the bottom, if you think of it as a square, then, you're dividing it in two. That's easy. Dividing this section in two, that's easy. This isn't quite two because the window is smaller than the door, but once you divide it in half, divide this in half, give yourself a door, everything kind of falls into the squares you've made. There's a, where the cement or the sidewalk where the plants live, there's a bit of an edge, sidewalk comes out. The hardest part for me, and it's something I struggle with all the time, is bikes and drawing circles. Drawing circles freehand is always hard, and if you have a template with those circle knockouts, I mean, you can use those, or trace a glass, whatever you have, you can make a circle. I'm going to freehand mine, but if my tire looks kind of flat, I apologize in advance.
That's okay. Sometimes you have to ride on a flat tire, right?
Exactly. It's funny though, because if you look on Google Street View for this place, and it's called Nagumo Barbershop. That bike is always there, so I don't know if that's the owner, but in every single Street View picture I've seen, that's there. And I'll be using some new watercolor, even though I'm not painting it here. I'll draw it now and paint it later, but I'm using some new watercolor paper I got from Grumbacher, from the site is called Chart Pack. And I thought it was cool because the pages, they can come out.
Oh, they're like perforated, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's not sealed, so you can pull them out and then push them back in later. I mean, I can fold this and rip it off if I want, but I can reinsert it, and I don't have to draw on top of a pile of paper that's an inch thick. So
one of our viewers said bikes are hard though, and it's the wheels. They always end up looking like pizza wheels.
I know exactly how you feel. and even these ones, they're not perfect.
They look like wheels. They look good.
Bikes are scary. So my paper looks like it's centered.
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay. So what I usually do for straight lines is I kind of use my finger to butt up against the paper. It's a bit hard because it's not a stack, but kind of use it as a guide to keep my starting line straight. And
You said that's your pinky that you're using?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Pinky, edge of the paper.
Ah.
And the first line's always the hard one. so there's that first. I'm going to start from the bottom up. So that's the first kind of bottom of the sidewalk thing here. And then that's about this thick. Then there's the thin bump on the sidewalk. And then there's the ledge that the plants live on. So there's my base.
So it's like you're creating a grid almost of the drawing before you get started.
I mean, this whole image, I mean, yeah, this is complicated and this is complicated, but the rest is like horizontal lines.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a cheat maybe. But,
no, it's such a good way to look at it, like break it down and start that way.
Right. And then straight, I mean, I think I'm already crooked, but whatever. So straight up the middle is the door, the middle part, breaking in the door here. And let's see. The sidewall, I'll start it about here. And then let's see. The sidewall's got like a cement.
This is already such a great way to break things down and get started, because I feel like it's hard to get started on something, but the way you're showing us is like finding those simple shapes is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like macro to micro. I mean, once you draw this, you've got the edge, which is just basically based on the side of your paper, and then building it in. I got these shapes now. I got these shapes now. The door. I mean, there's a piece of wood here that frames the door, so I'll make this a double wide. The bottom part is cement, it's roughly this high.
There's a question from one of our viewers. What kind of pencil are you using?
Well, just one I found lying around, actually, it's a carpenter's pencil. It's nothing special. The good thing is, I mean, if you plan on watercoloring, I mean, obviously you need watercolor paper and, waterproof ink. But if you're just sketching for fun, if you're just sketching to practice, then any pen, any paper. Let's see. So the door. The door has a windows. Oh, there's my door.
One of our viewers said, "This guy's the real deal."
Nice. I'm putting the bike for last because that's my hard part. And my hands are shaking, you can tell. So there's the door. The door's got a little window on top. And the window, so I did my door, little window, and there's the awning. So that's basically the top of my store.
So we have our entrance. Woo.
Right. So then more windows, lots of windows. So framing, windows, little sign. I mean, you can put as much detail at the beginning as you're comfortable with. I mean, sometimes on my Instagram, on my reels, a lot of times I'll just go for it and just no pencil, just start inking. And sometimes it's a disaster and I don't post those, obviously. But sometimes it's kind of cool. I mean, yeah, things are a bit crooked, but a lot of times I like what comes out. So.
Yeah, and you were talking about how the storefront has character too, and kind of like you're adding to the character almost, right?
Right. The there's people who draw wavy on purpose. I find that if I'm trying to draw a perfect line and I draw for 2 hours trying to make everything perfect, the first time I screw something up, I'm really upset. But
yeah, you kind of have to let loose a little, right?
Right. So if you're not trying to draw perfect, then everything is perfectly, imperfect.
Perfectly imperfect. I like that.
So let's see. There's some framing here. Some pipes. Bucket.
One of our viewers says, "This type of drawing totally appeals to me because of the straight lines and the order layout."
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to get intimidated by some drawings, but again, I called it a bit of a cheat because it literally is straight lines. If you look at the whole thing, then maybe it's a bit scary, but if you break it down, it's basically squares.
If you missed the beginning, Les showed us how to break down each section of the building into how you would start mapping it out, which is really helpful. I was taking notes from that part myself.
So I'm just copying what I see on the photo here. I mean, some schmutz. And let's see, the end of the thing comes down here. And I'll these are flat lines here, but I'll probably add a width to them later when I do the pen part. I mean, there's bricks on the side here, and carry the shape across. Now let's see. Let's do the barber pole. So big circle goes down, and everything's kind of related or or placed in relation to everything else, right? So, I mean, I put the big light over the top of the awning, just be, I continued it over the awning just because that gave it more depth, and I didn't like how it just kind of butted against it. So I would either pull it up or pull it down, but just having it touch like that kind of bugged me. And that's the good thing just about making up your own photo. Like you can make it better than life just by saying, I wish these had flowers on them. I wish this, I wish there was 2 bikes. I wish, you can do whatever you want, right?
Yeah, creative license. I love that you can make those little adjustments. And that's such a neat tip too, to make it stand out a little more almost.
Right.
Very cool.
I mean, also, if you do paint the barber pole, reds or warm colors tend to pop, to come to the foreground, and blues and cool colors drop back. So if you've got multiple stripes, make a lot of them red. Like if you've got 3 red, then it'll pop more than having 3 blue.
Another neat tip. Thank you, Les.
I've been working in graphic design for like over 30 years. And where's the base? There's a circle I gotta draw. And I work all day on a computer. And I wanted a hobby. And when I was a kid, I drew all the time. I mean, I didn't have computers. I'm dating myself. When I was a kid drawing, we didn't have computers, and I wanted to be an architect. And then eventually computers came along, and then I learned Photoshop and Illustrator and all the Adobe programs. But now that I was looking for a hobby, I decided to go back to traditional media and do the things I enjoyed doing when I was a kid. So
yeah, it's kind of nice to step back from all the technology and get a pencil in your hand, some ink.
Exactly. And and the things I've learned using Photoshop or making game packaging or whatever hold true. Depth and color palettes and it's just expressing myself differently. So let's see. I got the barber pole done. So now let's see. We finish the window.
Is there kind of any order you're going in specifically as you're adding the details?
I'm trying to do, well, I was going to say foreground to background. I mean, obviously I drew the building, and now I'm drawing the barber pole on top of it. I didn't want to draw the window until I did the barber pole because I knew I have to work around it. But usually I work, I was gonna say usually. If you look at my videos, every time I started drawing, I'm doing it differently. So no, I guess I don't really have a set way of working, because sometimes I draw from the bottom up or from this left to right, foreground to background. So I guess it depends on the picture. I'm going to do
going with the flow. I like that.
Yeah, I'm going to do the flower pots now. It's a bunch of, this one's on a brick.
Does the carpenter's pencil have like a specific softness to it or anything?
Does it say? It says medium.
Medium.
I'm constantly buying art supplies, and I have a ton, I'm embarrassed to say. And I don't really have a preference in anything I use yet. So it just depends what's lying around. Every time I clean up, I find something that I bought that I haven't even used yet.
I think anyone who is enjoying art has that. I can admit I have that addiction as well. Art supplies everywhere.
You have Michael's in the States where you are?
We do, yeah.
Because Michael's often has sales. So I'll often go on a sale day and it's like 50% off one thing. So I'll go in and I'll buy one thing. So I don't know if I'm their best customer just because that's all I do. So those are most of the basic pieces. I'll add the detail and the shading with the pen. I still have to do the bike, so I better bite the bullet and do that, I guess.
And we are about 25 minutes into our demo.
And I'm taking longer than I thought I would. So
that's okay. We're chatting too.
For the bike for placement, when I practiced this before, and one trick is that the center of the bike tire is kind of almost exactly where the bottom of the door frame is, I mean, close. So I'm going to use that to set my center point on the tire, which comes around, gross. And I have I'm drawing really lightly, so hopefully these pencil marks will come off later. I have I have a regular white eraser. I've also got eraser. It's like a gum. It's almost like Play-Doh that you roll over your drawing. And I was told by another artist, Captain Tom out of Ottawa, that those gum erasers are cool because being rough with these can actually remove ink, while the other one doesn't. It's gentler to just roll it like Play-Doh, and it picks up the carbon, I guess. So
yeah, I think those ones are really neat, and they're kind of fun just to play with too. Like you just mess around with them, right?
Exactly. So I'll draw some bike detail.
We have some viewers admitting their supply addiction as well, so we're not alone in this, Les.
I try not to go too crazy, but there's some cool stuff out there.
I know, it's fun to try new things too. And wow, great tip with the bike tire. I know that seriously, I'm always taking notes on these things. That was a great, awesome way to look at it.
I mean, everything is touching something else. So if you find a good anchor point in your image, for me, it was the center of the door, but then everything kind of builds off of it. So I try not to get too intimidated by how many pieces there are. It's just, it all starts with one piece, right? And then you just keep going. There's the bike rack, bike seat. I mean, when I did mine, I ran out of room. I didn't, there was, in the reference image I had, it was one I found on Google, and I didn't have the rights to it, or I didn't feel I had the right to use it here. So that's why I had my friend go and take the photo for me. And the one I used, that actually had two bikes, and I drew as much as I could and just kind of faded out the rest. So that's what I'll be doing on the bike on the right here. And it's got a.
Do you ever work with watercolor pencils? That's one of our questions from our viewer.
Pencils, no. I've got watercolor markers, but I haven't really used them all that much. I haven't been drawing. I've been drawing on Instagram for about 2 years. Painting for about a year maybe. So I'm still learning tricks. I'm still watching etcher videos. I in no way think I'm an ace at this. I got plenty to learn.
I think this is excellent, and you have so many neat tips already that are you don't normally think of.
Thanks. Let's see. There's a plant behind the bike, and I don't know if I'm going to see that much. I'll just do some wavy lines for now.
Someone said, I love the way you draw it and make us feel sure about drawing, even if we're not pros, it's awesome.
I mean, I've been involved in a lot of online challenges. I've done Instagram live drawings, and I'm drawing with people who are a lot better than me. Like, and they tell me the same thing. Like, I feel insecure about what I'm doing. Guys with 100,000 followers feel insecure about what they're doing. It's just an artist thing. It's like nobody's happy with their own work, and I think you kind of shouldn't be happy with your own work. You should never think you've gotten to the end. There's always something more you can get better at. I mean, imagine if I thought I'm perfect now, there's nothing to learn. I mean, that's never going to happen.
Right. We were kind of talking about that before we jumped on, but just being your biggest critic is you're always going to be harder on yourself, and that's something that all artists are.
Yeah, I mean, even for showing the walkthrough at the beginning, I was showing my wife the pile of paintings that I dug up, and I asked her which ones should I take out, which ones are bad, and she didn't take out any of them, but she liked them all. So it's like, doesn't matter what we think. People, I'm very critical of my own work, and I show somebody else, and they tell me I'm crazy. So I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Yeah, exactly.
I got this from Etcher last week, and I'm going to try it.
They are. They're pretty awesome. I'm going to post the link for you guys if you want to pick them up. Our fine liner collection. I have a set myself, and I really love the variation and the tips, and they're really good.
I've bought pens before that say they're waterproof, and then I draw a nice picture, and then I go to add water, and then they bleed. So I was worried a bit, but I tested these out, and they work great. So I will definitely use this.
Have no fear.
Have no fear.
When water is near.
This one here, I think there's a lot of different kinds here. There's a chisel tip, there's a brush tip. This one here, I'll test it over. Here's my doodles. This one here is it's a brush tip, but when you add, it's a stiff tip, and when you press, you get a line variation. So when you press down, it goes thin to thick. And this one is small. There's also an extra small, medium, and large. So I think I'm gonna use the small. I really like how I like the line variations. I like the randomness that I get, and that I can add more shadow just by putting a little weight on it. I do know though, especially for like the smaller, pen tips on watercolor paper, at the beginning, I was putting a lot of pressure on my pen tips, and they were wearing down like I was drawing on sandpaper. So you really can't push hard on watercolor paper unless you want to be buying markers like weekly. So how much time we got? What time is it?
We are just hitting the halfway point. You're good.
So,
and I'm going to post your mini workshop link if anyone is really loving this and you want to see more. I'm going to post that link for the mini workshop, which is on July 25th, and you can jump in and get a spot for that. It's going to be awesome. And Les will tell us more about that towards the end of the demo as well.
And despite how nice everybody's being here, my hand is still shaking. I apologize. These lines are kind of shaky.
Oh, that's fine. It is really nerve-wracking to be in front of a lot of people and doing it, but you are awesome. Your work is great. Looking good.
I'm a bit of an introvert, so the fact that it's taking a hobby that I enjoy and kind of showing it to a lot of people is it's a good thing and a nerve-wracking thing. Some shading. Here's the bottom.
So which one did you choose to use them?
This one is the small, and it's I'm not sure what you call this kind of tip. It's a Tombow has the same thing. It's a hard tip, but it's got some flex to it.
Ah.
The base, another brick. The brick has some dots. Let's see.
Someone says, introverts unite. I mean, honestly, that's one good thing about these demos is that if you are introverted, you're at home and you're still enjoying and loving art.
I'm in a safe place.
We do have a good question. Maybe you can give us some insight on this.
Sure.
How does a person lose the need to draw perfect?
Have I lost the need to draw perfect? I don't know that I have. For me, it was more of I was trying to time box myself to be faster, and like I said, I went on holiday and I really didn't want to spend, or my wife didn't want to spend 3 hours while I drew a really cool cathedral, and so I had different images where I would spend a lot of time, and an image where I had literally 20 minutes before the tour bus showed up, and I better hurry. And to be honest, I liked them both. So was one better because it had a lot of detail, or was one worse because it didn't? I didn't think so. So it's I mean, you need to like what you do. It's cool that you like what you do, but but I think letting loose sometimes is fun. Let's see.
I like the idea of working in like a time constraint. Is that something that you do
I was
from
doing
time to time?
a lot at the beginning. I literally set a timer and challenge myself. Okay, Les, what can you draw in half an hour? And sometimes at the beginning anyway, I didn't hit the times I was shooting for, but I did get faster. I mean, there are artists like, I don't know if you know Felix Scheinberger. He does super loose drawings, and they're awesome. So the fact that it's loose doesn't make it a bad drawing. It's just personal preference, right? I don't know if
Absolutely, yeah.
explaining that properly. The best art is the art you like. This is the wrong part. The other part, the lines shouldn't take too long.
And I see you're kind of working in the foreground. Is that how you normally work when you start inking?
I tackle different areas that kind of catch my eye. Right now I'm drawing the two hardest things, the things that have the most detail. The other things will be easier and I can speed up there.
So kind of finding the harder and working your way to the less detailed work.
Yeah, I think so. Here's the plants, some leaves. Things catch my eye and, oh yeah, I should do that, and I do that. Oh, I didn't do the line. I kind of jump around the page a bit. There's some street, sidewalk.
I see you're kind of adding like little dots here and there. What is that for?
Yeah, just some texture, just some, this is cement. So, you know, if I was painting or using a fountain pen, I might, you know, put some splatter just because I find it interesting. Removing some of the perfectness.
I like the texture. It makes it look really neat.
I mean, there's a big base here, right? So if the light, I'm going to assume the light is up here just because I want to give shadows. So I need a light source. So there's my light. So if there's a big base here and there's a sidewalk, well, then that's going to be dark over there, right? And it's going to be dark under the brick, and it's going to be dark there. So just kind of keeping in mind where the, you know, this to be dark under there. Keeping in mind where the light is important. There's some just mess. I'll keep going with the plants, I guess.
We already have some signups for the mini workshop. Yay! Thank you for joining in on that too. I'll post the link one more time. So if you're really enjoying this with Les today, you can sign up and join in again for more fun. It's on July 25th.
That's a Sunday, I think, right?
I believe so. Let me double check. Sunday. Yep, it's a Sunday, July 25th. And it's at 1:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Do you also moderate for those, or
Sorry?
Do you moderate for those as well, or is that somebody else?
Oh, that will also be me. So I will be there with you during that time.
Cool.
Sometimes they switch it up.
Trying my plants. Some leaves.
One of our viewers says, I like that you never draw a solid line. You're breaking them up and it gives the drawing a much looser feeling.
Yeah, there's a few artists that I follow that do the same thing, and I find there's a difference between, you know, drawing, perfectly straight, or, maybe rounding the corner, and then maybe you picked up your pen, and then you picked up your pen again. And I kind of like this more than this.
Yeah, it gives it that character for sure.
Let's see. Some shadows in there from the planters, between the planters. And now I'll start on the awning and work my way down, I guess. And for no reason. I mean, if you want to go this way or this way, right now I'm just drawing over what exists. Even if my hand wasn't shaking, I would probably make wavy lines here anyway. I find that they have more personality than trying to draw a ruler straight. It's almost impossible to draw a ruler straight, so draw crooked on purpose.
And it's also one less thing to carry with you, right? When you're out in the city sketching.
Yeah, exactly. And there's the line that I'm. Oops. That's not something you want to hear at a barbershop. Oops. I mean, if you're getting a haircut, I mean.
Oops, yeah, that's true.
Okay, so there's the awning. The awning's got some. I'll do the bricks.
How do you decide where to put those like little details that you just added?
Just based on the photo, that it's kind of hard to see here. It might be easier to see on the JPEG, but there's like ripples in where the material is getting pulled. So I kind of did it this direction as if this is a center point. So they're kind of aiming this way. I'll probably do the same thing on the, what is that? Air conditioner cover.
There's a question from one of our viewers. Do you like to sketch and color live in the city, or do you only do it in your studio?
I have done live. Some of my pictures take longer than others, in that I do multiple mock-ups, and then I erase a lot, and then some of those Japanese storefronts, I want them to be perfect, or as perfect as I can get them, and that's not something you can do out in the wild. But I do have a sketchbook, mostly pen work of things I've drawn outdoors.
And is using pencil something you always do first before you go into with ink?
No, actually, if you look at my reels, I've got about a half dozen pictures where I just went for it, and it's scary and fun.
That definitely will help you let loose, right?
Yeah, I mean, people say, "Hey, Les, you did a really, really good job on that thing where you just went for it." I go, "Thanks," but obviously, I mean, I didn't post the 3 that came before that I didn't do quite so well. I mean, my Instagram is full of stuff that I think is post worthy, but I don't post the thing, so it makes me look good, but it's not quite reality. I'm doing all that framing for the windows.
If you guys are following today with us as well, we have a special hashtag for this demo. It's hashtag #etcher_barbershop, so that you can paint your line work after the demo today if you'd like, and you can use that hashtag to share, and Les will be jumping in to check that out later. Of course, you can also use our hashtag #EtcherStudio to share as usual. We love to see your work, and that's always a good way to share with us as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't have time to draw and paint. You can see how slow I am. I got like another 15 minutes left, but I'll speed this up now. yeah, definitely. If you paint this after the class, today, tomorrow, whenever, I'd really want to see that. So please use the hashtag and share your work with us. There's some sort of pipe here. I'll draw the pipe.
All the sketching and stuff before, there's so much good information. So thank you for showing us your sketch and all the line work. It's looking great.
Awesome, thanks. I'm just drawing the wood that's kind of around the frames. So the window there is kind of white in the picture. There's a paper there, but I think I'm just gonna add some shading. Again, do whatever you want. I mean, draw curtains, turn it into a night scene. It's all good. The picture that I chose for the mini workshop is actually done in the daytime, and I painted it as if it was night. I made everything gray. I made the windows all lit up with orange, so you can do whatever you want.
Can you tell us a bit more about what the image is for the mini workshop?
Sure. It's again, it's from Storefront Japan. It was a yakitori restaurant. So basically, meat on a stick. Here, it's this one here.
Ah, cool.
I'll get back to that in a minute.
Yeah, no problem. Make sure you sign up for that mini workshop.
So, I think I can go a little bit faster now. It's all straight lines.
Is there anything that sometimes you kind of choose to omit or not put in there while you're working? Or do you like to stick to the character and the?
There's always, like, for example, this one here has kanji or Japanese writing in the top of the door, really, really small. I might leave that off just so I can write those 3 other letters bigger. It's a small space, so I don't know if I can do it justice here, but so I might leave that off. Sometimes when I'm drawing things that I find on Street View, like I'll see a really cool building and I'll start drawing it, and then I realize just out of frame is a I don't know, I was drawing a British thing and I saw a British bus or a British phone booth. So I'll pull that into the frame just because I thought it made a nicer scene.
So you can add or take away.
That's neat. Exactly. That's some shading here. These are cement. Oh, some dots. Oh. Yeah, the address. These would be dark. So when I use my pencil for this, when you're adding shading here, I mean, I would, because of the awning, I would draw a line basically, half an inch down, and everything in that space would be shaded or shadowed by the awning. So like some darker blues or grays.
And there's a question from our viewer. She says, I see your dots and hashing marks. Are you choosing to place those in for the darker areas for the reference?
Yeah, just like I did here, just adding contrast. So this pipe will pop. This is a shadow cast by the pipe. There's a shadow behind the curtains, a shadow cast on the window. So same thing here, that the windows, actually the windows in the photo are black, right? So I don't want to just color this in with black. I'd rather the paint do that, but I can add some, like here, there's a black window with a kind of a darker curtain. So here's the window shape, here's the curtain shape. I'll start it off maybe like that. And I'll use the darker grays to fill it in, or darker blues to fill that in. Otherwise, I'm just filling huge shapes full of black, and I'm not crazy about that. So I'm using Japanese writing, and for the Japanese writing, especially white on black, I might prefer to use those like Posca pens, the white pens, or even a gouache with a brush to paint it on top afterwards. But I'll do that there.
So the hatching of the dots, they kind of help add to the shadow, but you're not completely filling it in.
Right. And I've tried that technique. It just makes the picture really, really heavy, and it doesn't let the paint carry it. Like maybe it ends up being a really, really dark blue, but at least it's a color. And same thing. That's some hashtags here. I mean, you could turn this into a night scene and paint all these windows yellow, like they're working late.
And it kind of, the textures really add a lot of detail to it too. Like it makes it a character. I mean, detail and character. If you guys don't mind taking a minute to fill out our survey, I'm going to post that in the chat for you as well. We love to hear from you guys and letting us know what we're doing well with. We share all the information with our artists as well, so they get some feedback and we know how to improve, or if you're loving it, we just love to hear that. So thank you for taking a minute to fill that out.
There's a bit of a line here. I also notice something that wasn't in my original photo, but there's a pipe that runs down the outside wall here and goes around. There's a weird kind of awning thing here, so I'll add that.
So you can kind of go back and re-examine for those details that you want to add in there.
Yeah, things are, I mean, even looking on Street View, I know that there's a window on the side there, there's a window on the side there. So again, you can pull in things that you've seen in a different photo, Street View, anything. So let's see, add some more shading.
We are getting close to our Q&A, guys. So if you have any questions that maybe we haven't answered, if you'd like to start typing them in the chat, and I can pass those along to Leslie as he is finishing up this inking here.
I'll give this a little shadow just by pushing down on this funky pen tip.
There's a great question that's coming up right now. The viewer says, I always have trouble with cross-hatching. How much or how little is a good amount to use?
That is a really good question, because it's happened a lot where where there's just one line too many. So yeah, there's no real answer for that. I mean, as much as you're happy with. Some people, their drawings are just like wall-to-wall cross-hatching and it looks amazing. Some people use none. So it's a totally a personal preference. Seeing as how this is going to be painted, yeah, I could have filled in every single window with black, just like the photo. But the paint can add way more feeling. I mean, this one isn't the same picture, but you know, yes, this is yellow, but then you add some orange and you add some red, and it makes a more textured background. But it's the paint that adds the texture, not the pen.
So you're kind of thinking about, how am I going to paint this later as you're making your marks?
This one, yes. If I was going to leave it as a pen drawing only, I might use a thinner pen and do a lot more cross hatching, just so that gives it the foreground, background, you know, the textures and dimension and depth. This one, since I plan on painting it, I won't go too crazy by adding big blocks of black. It just I don't think it needs it. So is there anything here that I've missed? I mean, I'll come back in half an hour and I'll be fiddling with a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, I should add more lines there. Oh, I should add more lines there. There's that gummy, inky stuff. That's pretty good. I wasn't sure. I haven't tried it with this pencil yet.
Ah, we get to see the eraser in action.
It's kind of like the old Play-Doh, you know, you used to roll it and it used to pick up the picture.
Yeah. It's neat to see the technique you use too. Everyone uses those so different.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could slime it. The Stapler, the white one, I guess if I was super rough, it might take off the ink, which I don't want, but no, it's working as long as I'm not putting all my weight on it around. I mean, this is a simple drawing. I mean, I picked something I was hoping I could finish in in the time I was given. So I've done some pretty crazy detailed stuff. This one was chosen because it fits basically because it fits the time limit.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
The colors will really carry this, though. I really like, you know, a blue, I forget what color I used for this, but a nice kind of blue green, or mint green, or you know, whatever you like. You know, the blue awning. The pipe isn't yellow in the photo, but I made the yellow pipe. Yeah, this was fun to do here. The windows, because I didn't want to paint black. This is actually, I think, a color called Moon Glow. Moon Glow is kind of a purpley gray.
One of our viewers actually said they were going to use that in theirs. That's cool to hear.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite colors.
The Moon Glow.
I use that pretty much everywhere. Yeah.
I'm going to post the reference photo one more time, just in case you guys are going to paint it. We do have a special hashtag for today's demo. It's #etcher_barbershop. And if you guys are painting or you just want to share your line work, we just created this for a fun way to find it easily. And you can also use our original hashtag of #EtcherStudio for this one as well.
This is Moon Glow. So kind of not quite gray. Maybe it's got some red in it. It's kind of hard to tell. But yeah.
That's really nice.
I like that one. Well, see, so the light's here. It's giving shadow on the things that are behind it, beside it, under it.
So for final touches, you're thinking about shadows?
Shadows, shading, I mean, just adding, I mean, I'm done. I'm just adding some lines here and there. All
right.
Eventually, I'll regret. Okay, you should have stopped like 10 minutes ago.
Stop while you're ahead. I don't. Sometimes I just get really into it till you can't stop. It's hard to stop.
But yeah, that's kind of it.
Awesome. I'm going to put us back in our gallery view here and just share some last minute details with everyone. I already posted the reference photo. If you do want to finish painting it, use the hashtag #etcher_barbershop. And if you don't mind filling out our survey for us, I'm going to post that in the chat. Just take a minute to fill that out for us so we can see how we're doing. And then, of course, We would also love for you to join us for the mini workshop with Leslie. It's on July 25th, and that's 1:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And I'm going to post that link in the chat as well. And Leslie, I'm going to let you finish it up and close us off today with whatever you'd like to leave everyone with.
Yeah, well, thanks everyone for showing up. I was really excited, scared, and happy to be asked. I really enjoy drawing Japanese storefronts, and I hope you take a crack at this one. If you paint it, definitely hashtag it so I can take a look. The photo belongs to, or was taken by storefronts.japan. If you tag them, they will definitely repost anything that has anything that they've taken a photo of. Yeah, I'm despite being nervous, I'm happy with how it turned out.
It's wonderful, and I'm posting Leslie's Instagram in here as well. You should check out his other work in here as well. And thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Leslie, thank you so much for the amazing demo. I have so many thank yous coming in now. Excellent demo. Thanks for sharing your ideas and perspective. Loved this demo. You see them coming in?
Yeah, I got the pop up here.
Awesome. I'm going to spotlight your work one more time. And thank you, everyone, again for being here.
And this is 2 weeks from now.
And sign up for the mini workshop.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody.